time to light the match for the burning truth with Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to The Burning Truth. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson, bought and paid for by local politicians who've never given me any money. Is that why I can't eat anything anymore, Morgan? Is that why? Welcome back, Morgan. Morgan still feels like garbage, but she came in because she knows that sharing is caring, and she wants to give all of us the Black Death. That's what she's trying to do. But at least she showed up, trying to make an effort. Do appreciate that. Well, I want to go over the John Thune situation, and had somebody hop onto the live stream and was like, hey, thank you for explaining this the other day. And I wish that things were different, folks. I really do. Now, I kind of went over just some of the nuances of how this stuff works. And the way that it works, by the way, is the reason that you should be so ticked off that this always happens. If you go back in my radio career, there was a point where I was just doing weekends, hadn't transitioned into full-time during the week. And so we're talking the first year, so 20-some-odd years ago, and I was sitting in an apartment complex doing a remote because they were doing a rental special for the summer. And I was talking about John Boehner and Mitch McConnell and how they should not be put back into positions of leadership, that they could not be trusted. This is, 2 decades ago, guys. You realize that John Boehner left Congress a little while ago. It really hasn't been much better since he left. But Mitch McConnell is still the majority leader up until, this now, and John Thune takes over. It was old 20 years ago, and then it happened for an additional 20 years. And back then, you used to run into, no, Mitch McConnell's great. He's a solid conservative. No, he isn't. He's never been a solid conservative. What are you talking about? John Boehner's a solid, no, he isn't a solid conservative. He's a golf buddy with Obama. What are you talking about? And people would give me just a lot of flack. We're into Ohio right now with the show. Like, syndication gets into Ohio. But even before then, a lot of people in Ohio listen to the program. They got so mad at me for bringing Boehner up. Well, I don't know what you want. He is what he is. He is who I thought he was. They are who we thought they were. So John Thune, I had him on the show very recently. And in October, it's about a month ago, I think. And John Thune, who has not been kind to Trump, has not been a very good conservative. In fact, I should probably pull up his Liberty score. So let me just do that right now. This is John Thune Liberty score. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't send me to an awful website. Okay, so Heritage Action for America gives John Thune a 37%. That's the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, scores Republicans on a much more positive scale than anybody else. The Conservative Review score has them at 51%, but that was for 2022. Now, they really haven't updated anything. So, like I said, it is what it is. Now, when I had him on the show, he seemed to be a bit more pro-Trump. And I kind of went into that. This could be just, hey, he's doing his political survival thing, and he's talking about Trump this, Trump that. He's in Indiana to stump for Jim Banks. And like I said, there's favors and things like that have to be paid back. Jim Banks is in the inner circle of Donald Trump right now. First person to be endorsed by Donald Trump this campaign cycle. He's on the team that picks the cabinet members. He's working with them on transition. Jim Banks is very integral to Donald Trump's new administration. And he's obviously going to be in the Senate, but he's still very important with Donald Trump. So Jim Banks being important to Donald Trump could be a reason that Senator Thune wanted him close. And that's why he came to Indiana and he did the Allen County bean dinner speech and all of that other stuff. It's possible. He's politicking, guys. That's what he's doing. But Jim Banks also wants to get on certain committees, and Jim Banks wants to accomplish certain things. And John Thune is the guy that is going to make that happen. Like I said, you heard the Freudian slip and everything else. Thune's going to take over this. Oh, we're going to have a vote. Okay, Thune's going to take over. And it's official. So John Thune, South Dakota senator, will be the new majority leader. And like I said, he's not got a great record. I mean, he really doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. At one point he said Donald Trump should withdraw and Mike Pence should be our nominee effective immediately back in 2016. And it was all because of George Floyd. He posted that Kimberly and I are heartbroken to learn that a U.S. Capitol police officer has died heroically defending the Capitol against despicable violence. We're praying for the officer's family and for all of the members of the Capitol Police who are mourning the loss of their fellow officer. That didn't happen. Just didn't happen. He really likes Zelensky. He really likes the Cheneys. He's been friends with them for a long time. And he didn't want to support Donald Trump running for office. There's no doubt that Rick Scott was the better of the three candidates. And again, when I come out here and I tell you all, hey, look, Rick Scott is he's the guy of these three that should be the Senate Majority Leader if Trump is going to have a good ally, okay? But I know some of you got a little upset. Red flag law. I know. He's not, folks, he's not perfect, but we're looking at these three, and it's clearly Rick Scott. Rick Scott is squarely in Trump's corner. He's got a very good Senate conservative record. Very, 95%, lifetime. Just very, very good. Senator Thune's lifetime score is 62% with a Heritage for Action. This session, 37%. You realize he's been worse right now in an election year than he has been lifetime. It just, it's not good. He's an F to a D on conservatism. He's a nice guy. Got along fine with him when I sat down and talked to him, but I pushed him on a couple of things, and it was not meant to be a contentious interview. He was a guest. I was a guest. I wasn't going to be the jerk in somebody else's house. That's not what I'm doing. If it's in the studio, it's a different story. And I got the sense either he's just, pandering and lying, but I got the sense that he is, going to do what the MAGA movement wants, and that could be because of Banks' ties with the Trump administration. Could be. But this is how it was always going to go. And I applaud everybody for trying to get Senator Rick Scott in that position. I really do. I think it's a noble effort. I supported you. The problem is it was never going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not the way that the system works. That 10-point plan for destroying the swamp in the deep state that Donald Trump posted, one of those things is term limits. That fixes this problem right here. That right there fixes this problem. So it's something to consider. Then again, will somebody like a Senator Thune support term limits? Probably not. So he's not going to be a loyal ally. And I don't want any Republican out there to make the same mistake that they made with McCarthy. McCarthy, lifetime, had an F rating for his conservative scores across the board. I think Heritage for Action gave him a D+ or something like that. Just massive, massive red flags for that guy. His entire political career has been moderate left, certainly not conservative. And then, of course, he becomes Speaker of the House. And you have all of these Republicans who are supposed to be stalwarts in the conservative movement, by the way, in conservative media, are that McCarthy is great. No, he isn't. He's never been great. Did McCarthy do a couple of good things? Yeah. Did he have some really good moments against the media? Absolutely he did. And then what he would do is he would go behind the scenes and betray his own caucus. Now, John Thune came on my show and he talked a good game. But his history tells me he's probably going to be another McCarthy. He's going to go behind his caucus and he's going to work with the Democrats and do a bunch of stuff that he wants to do and that the Democrats want to do to stop Trump and everything else, and that the Republicans in the Senate, who are way less conservative than in the House, are going to be out of the loop. The question is, can the ties that somebody like Senator-elect Jim Banks from Indiana's 3rd Congressional District, can that temper that behavior? I don't know. We're not going to know, folks, until this actually happens. But make no mistake, the leader of the United States Senate right now is not an ally of President Trump, even though he said he was on my show, because he's never been one. He wasn't in his first administration. He hasn't been when he was out of office. He hasn't been through this election. Don't expect him to be a Trump ally now. But maybe he'll behave a little bit better, like McCarthy did. Just a little bit. And maybe that'll get some things done. I don't know. Republicans have both houses now. It's possible. Certainly possible. Senator Thune, who will become the majority leader, doesn't really have a lot to say by going, well, we only have one of the houses, so we can't really do this. So I had to work with the Democrats to do that. Because now, I mean, the excuse is, no, we have majorities in both houses and we have the executive, so we should be getting pretty much his entire agenda done and solving a bunch of the problems that we've been trying to solve for a very long time. That's what should happen. I just have tremendous doubts that Senator Thune is going to be that guy. Maybe I'll be surprised. Got more coming up. You're tuned in to The Burning Truth. Well, here comes the rectal wrinkled tongue treatment. Senator Todd Young. I want to congratulate Senator John Thune on becoming Senate Majority Leader. We had 3 outstanding candidates running for Senate Leader. All 3 are friends who put forward good ideas. Our conference moves forward united to work with the incoming Trump administration. We'll see. We'll see. I hold little hope, but I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely do. Well, the FAA told you yesterday. Was it yesterday? What is today? Wednesday? Was it Monday? I don't know. One of these days. I told you that Spirit Airlines tried to, fly into bleep hole country Haiti. And, well, it got shot and peppered with a bunch of bullets. And one of the flight attendants was hit by one of the bullets. Just trying to land in Port-au-Prince because, it's Haiti. Because that's what Haiti does. It's Haiti. So, not great. By the way, Haiti also just had an ambush of a Doctors Without Borders vehicle. People were killed. So Doctors Without Borders, there to help the Haitians, who you're told you're not allowed to express any potential skepticism about. And they decided to go and ambush a Doctors Without Borders vehicle and kill people after shooting a Spirit Airlines flight. Then we found out that they also shot a JetBlue flight as well, or shot at a JetBlue flight. We heard that JetBlue got rerouted to the Dominican Republic, but I guess they shot at the JetBlue plane as well. So they all went to the Dominican Republic, where, of course, everything is safe, and the women are really desperate for green cards. So it's a good place for single guys to go to. And Spirit Airlines, JetBlue, now potentially, because of what happened with them, the FAA is considering a total ban on flights to Haiti after this incident. This flight was so traumatizing, ladies and gentlemen, that Spirit Airlines is preparing to file for bankruptcy. I don't know, how is it that Spirit Airlines would need to file for bankruptcy? Didn't they have the LGBTQ pride parade at the gate? At the all of their gates, I guess. That didn't get enough people over to the Spirit Airlines thing? You mean to tell me being an ally isn't enough for you to want to take your safety not very seriously? That's very strange. So Spirit Airlines, known for its cheap flights, prices, and overpriced baggage fees and other services, is preparing to file for bankruptcy. Let's see. Stock dropped 60%. They tried and failed to merge with Frontier Airlines, another stellar airline, by the way. On Tuesday, the Wall Street Journal report said that the airline is preparing to file for bankruptcy protection within weeks, and its tie-up discussions with Frontier broke down after an agreement with creditors is executed, it is expected to lead to a cancellation of the company's existing equity. If a deal with note holders is not reached, the carrier said that it would consider all alternatives, and their stock for this year is down 90%. The value of Dogecoin is up, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Don't worry, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's coming. A Michigan woman who was fired for refusing COVID vaccines has won a $12 million reward from her employer. Federal jury awarded Catholic woman Lisa Domsky more than $12 million, $10 million of that in punitive damages after she was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine. Good for her. This happened in Michigan again. So for those of you on the Michigan side of the border, Domsky worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. You may or may not have heard of that little tiny company in the state for 30 years and was 100% remote during the pandemic, which means she did not work at the office. You know why? Because she's an IT specialist, and even before COVID, she was 75% remote. She didn't need to go into the office. Despite requesting a religious exemption for the COVID vaccine, Blue Cross refused, which triggered a lawsuit from her, who claimed that she was a victim of religious discrimination. So her attorney, John Marco, released a statement saying, "Our forefathers fought and died for the freedom of each American to practice his or her own religion. Neither the government nor a corporation has a right to force an individual to choose between his or her career and conscience." Lisa refused to renounce her faith and beliefs and was wrongfully terminated from the only job she had ever known. Again, she was there for over 30 years. The jury verdict today tells Blue Cross Blue Shield that religious discrimination has no place in America and affirms each person's right to religious freedom. So again, $10 million in punitive damages, $1.7 million in lost wages, and $1 million in non-economic damages. Blue Cross Blue Shield, a little sad by this. While Blue Cross respects the jury process and thanks the individual jurors for their service, we are disappointed in the verdict. Blue Cross is reviewing its legal options and will determine its path forward in the coming days. I don't know, just stop sucking. How about that? Not only was it stupid to require that to begin with, but she didn't even come into the office and mingle and interact with any of your other employees. So it made no sense to force her to get a vaccine to begin with. Common sense type stuff. So we got to talk about the Department of Doge, right? Have to. The announcement happened yesterday. I immediately bought Dogecoin. I'm just going to see what it does. It's never done well, but I just want to see what it's going to do. And we'll talk about that coming up. You're listening to The Burning Truth.
The Burning Truth with Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to The Burning Truth. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend, Warsaw, and Fort Wayne. Go to rbcarcompany.com. Don't forget, you can follow me on social media at Casey the Host. You can also head over to the live stream, rumble.com/Casey the Host. Can you cue up my audio, please? I would like to play this moment. Donald Trump went ahead and went into the Oval Office and met with Joe Biden. So Trump's old office, Biden's current part-time office when he's not on that weird set that he always goes to, and Trump's future office. Here it is.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome.
really big fire going in the background, which seems like something that would irritate the environmentalists, but just throwing it out there. So a lot of people pointed out the body language, and pretty interesting stuff. Some finger pointing and that sort of thing with the handshake, and it is, people are just, they're analyzing, whatever. It is what it is. But Joe Biden had another moment that actually was I think a bigger moment, where at one point you had a reporter, Neria Krause, ask Joe Biden if he thinks he can get a hostage deal done by the end of his term. And Joe Biden gave a very Joe Biden-esque answer.
President Biden, do you think that you can get a hostage deal by the end of your term?
Valid question.
I think you can get hit in the head by a camera behind you. All right. Thank you all. Well, Mr. President.
Huh? Did you catch that? You able to hear that, Morgan? So what she did, she's like, hey, I asked Biden if he thinks he can get a hostage deal done by the end of his term. And he said, do you think you can get hit in the head by a camera behind you? That's legit. He said that. Now, for those of you who don't know, she is a foreign correspondent for an Israeli news agency. And she's asking the American supposed president, hey, before your term is up, can you get a hostage deal done for my people and bring my people home? And he's like, can you get hit in the head with a camera? What would happen if Donald Trump looked at a reporter and said something like that? What would happen? I bet they would have a little hissy fit, wouldn't they? But they didn't have a hissy fit this time. So it's like, okay. Folks, there was a bunch of people running around saying, hey, is it weird that Joe Biden seems like he's all lucid and articulate now? He didn't seem lucid and articulate. Like, stop saying that. That's not real. It's not a real thing. Not a real thing at all. So let's take a look at the team that is being assembled. Right before the show today, Marco Rubio was confirmed in his new posting. So he's going to be Secretary of State, I think. So President-elect Trump is expected to nominate Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. That happened. That was confirmed right before the show today. A source noted that while Trump could still change his mind, which he didn't, as of now he's planning to offer the job to Rubio, which, again, happened. Rubio, who sits on both the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Foreign Relations Committee, has taken similar positions to Trump on international conflicts, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Israel's war with Hamas. Something else something else that Rubio has been really good with is pointing out how much money migrants get as opposed to Americans who are retiring. You realize if you come to the United States and you are on temporary protected status or whatever, you get more money per month than American retirees get. And you just got here. And Marco Rubio had a really good speech on the floor of the Senate one day calling this out. And we played it on the show. So Marco Rubio is, I think, going to be fine in the administration. You're not going to agree with everything he does, but he's going to be fine in the administration. So I think that there's a red pill moment for Marco Rubio. I've been over that before. Now we also have South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as the Director of Homeland Security, which, again, some of you are not happy about, not thrilled with. It is what it is. So she's dramatically going to be an upgrade over Mayorkas. Does anybody disagree with that? Is she the best pick? Maybe not. I don't know. Will she be good? I don't know. But is she going to be an upgrade from Mayorkas? Probably. It's hard to get any worse than him, honestly. So you've got Susie Wiles, who was his campaign manager, is now chief of staff, first woman to be chief of staff. Mike Waltz, 3-term Florida congressman, National Guard veteran, former Pentagon policy advisor, the first Green Beret to be elected to Congress. Tom Homan is the border czar. Can't get better than that. Elise Stefanik, again, congresswoman from New York. She is going to be the ambassador to the UN. People have been asking me, like, hey, what happens with all of these people that he's pilfering for his administration? Most of the time, the party is going to pick their replacement. So the Republican Party will pick their replacement. Most of the time, they'll fill out the term. I don't know if there is a posting here where there will be like a special election or something of that nature. So most of the time, it's going to be either a line of succession or there's going to be a caucus that will pick their replacement. Stephen Miller's back, and yeah, he is great. He's actually the guy behind Trump's immigration policies going all the way back to 2015. He's going to be the deputy chief of staff of policy. Lee Zeldin, congressman from New York, is going to be taking over the EPA. I laughed hysterically at that one. I think that one is just a phenomenal pick. Now, I honestly, to me, I think that this is probably one of I don't want to say funniest. The reaction to it is funny. But you have the new defense secretary, and leftists absolutely hate Pete Hegseth as the defense secretary. And I'm going to play you, just cue the audio again. This is, again, Joy Reid, who has done a lot of things that are flat out racist and anti-Semitic and homophobic, but I digress. Illegal, even. But this is Joy Reid talking about this. And again, Pete Hegseth, he's on Fox News. Yes, he's a host. He does some televisions and podcast stuff, but that's not who he is as a human being in his totality. And so you got all of these people in the media like really freaking out that Pete Hegseth is going to be the defense secretary, and they don't know his background. So listen to this.
The former and future president is moving quickly to fill the clown car and round out his cabinet before he changes his mind and fires them all. Moments ago, Trump announced that he has selected Fox Weekend morning show host, you can't make this up, Pete Hegseth, to serve as Secretary of Defense. Why not?
2 Bronze Stars, multiple tours in combat, was stationed at Guantanamo Bay, is not a career officer. You know what's amazing about this? The only people who don't like this are politicians. You realize that the rank and file military is looking at this and going, hell yeah, one of us? Are you kidding me? One of us is going to take over the Pentagon? That means he might actually pay attention to foxhole issues. Yeah, he probably will. Yeah, most of the time when you look at the Secretary of Defense and leadership there at the top, right? Secretary of Defense is usually a civilian, oftentimes with no military experience. He has military experience. He has accommodations. He has combat experience. He's got experience at Guantanamo. Yes, he's been in the media, but he has experience. A lot of SecDefs have no military experience, and some have some military experience, but just enough because they're a career officer that they're all about politics. Hegseth isn't. He could very well be, and again, I don't want to get ahead of it, but he could very well be the soldiers, the grunts, SecDef. And if he is, you folks, you could have tremendous changes in the United States military. He also will not be allowing the pronoun thing. The pronoun situation, like that's done in his tenure there. He's already said that. Like, nope, we're finished. Not gonna happen. So this is in my opinion, this is a good pick. Watching liberals go out there and say, oh, he's not qualified. Yeah, he is. He's absolutely qualified. And he's probably one of the better picks that we have had in a long time. And again, tremendous upgrade from what we have right now, which is a disaster. Do you think Pete Hegseth, anybody who's ever listened to him, do you think that he would have made all of the mistakes that they made in Afghanistan? No way. Not going to happen. Got more coming up. You're tuned in to The Burning Truth. All right, some more appointments, and then we'll get to the ones that you really care about. John Ratcliffe, former DNI, will be the chief of the CIA. That was announced yesterday. Yes, we will get to Vivek and Elon. Don't worry, we'll get to all of that. But several more announcements happened today, including some within the past half hour. So you had the Marco Rubio stuff, which we talked about. Tulsi Gabbard, ladies and gentlemen, will serve as the Director of National Intelligence. So Ratcliffe goes from the DNI to the chief of the CIA. Tulsi Gabbard will now head up as the Director of National Intelligence. Like I said, he's building a coalition of different ideologies in his administration. He's picking the best people. This is what a CEO does. One of the big ones here is Matt Gaetz, congressman from Florida. Matt Gaetz is going to be your next attorney general. And I don't care who you are. That's going to be great. You realize how many awesome stories I'm going to do about the attorney general, Matt freaking Gaetz, doing what he does as the AG? Are you kidding me? I'm loving that. You got an on-the-ground combat guy taking over the Department of Defense? You got somebody like Matt Gaetz taking over as Attorney General? You got Tulsi Gabbard taking over for intelligence? Ratcliffe, very experienced, taking over an intelligence agency that desperately needs to be reformed. A lot of people don't know that Donald Trump did a lot of really good things with the intelligence community when he was there. In fact, veterans of the IC really like what he did. Part of that, by the way, was privatizing and outsourcing some of the things that they did, which made them more effective at intelligence gathering. So, yeah, this is a pretty tremendous stuff. Matt Gaetz is the AG. Man, that is going to be so fun. Are you kidding me? That's going to be absolutely hysterical. I am so looking forward to that. So you also have, of course, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And they're now going to head up the Department of Doge, which everybody on the live stream, we're all in agreement. Like, if the logo for the Department of Doge, and I know that's redundant because it's Department of Government Efficiency, if that is not a dog, like, we're all going to be angry. We're all going to be angry. And if you're confused, ask your kids, okay? They'll tell you what's going on. So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will head the Department of Government Efficiency together. Now, part of the reason that is going to happen is, well, Elon Musk is kind of a busy dude, and Vivek is sort of busy, but less busy than Elon. And so Elon doesn't really have the ability to do this full time. In fact, when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast here just the other day, that was something that Joe Rogan brought up. And Joe Rogan's like, how in the world are you going to take on a task this massive with everything else that you're already doing? And Elon's response was, well, I'm pretty good at time management and efficiency. And that's where Vivek comes in. Similar background. Not exactly the same, but a similar background to Elon. And like I said, I like some of the ideas that I've heard from them about what to do with Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. I think that it has some potential to be really, really good. Save us a lot of money without causing any hardship for any of the people who are walking away or being forced to walk away. There's all these reporters that are on social media right now talking about they're going to get rid of 75% of the government. That's you, Virginia. How dare you come close to voting for Trump? And it's like, you're going to get probably a year or 2 years of salary. You're going to walk away fully paid. You can take a vacation, take extended time off, go back to school, retrain yourself, or you can double dip, get a job in the private sector, have your government salary, which is substantial, have your government salary, have your private sector salary, and you're going to be loaded. And we're going to save money while that happens. That's a win-win. That isn't a loss at all. It's actually a triple win because it's a win for you as well. It's a win for them. It's a win for the government. It's a win for us. And all these reporters out there who, again, are supposed to be information gatherers, right? That's what we're told. don't know that that's the plan. It's kind of weird, don't you think? So, yes, this is going to be a glorious time. And I'm hoping that Dogecoin goes up substantially in value. Got more coming up. You're listening to The Burning Truth.
Podcasts by Federated Media.